Welcome everyone, I'm Jacqueline Cohen from Safe Training Strategy, and we have started a podcast called The Sessions. Mark and I are very excited today because we have invited Olivia Young, the CEO and founder of Box and Flow, to join us. Olivia is from Miami, Florida. She actually never started out in the fitness industry. She worked with celebrity chefs in the world of media, PR, and what else?
Food,
brands,
business.
But she always loved movement, and she became a yoga instructor, certified in boxing. And this business she created is blowing New Yorkers out of their minds. So we're very excited to have her here today, and we're going to learn her story. Hi.
Hi.
So happy you came today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mark and I actually have been wanting to interview you for a while.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And we're here today because we love your story. We love what you've developed and the people around you, especially because you're such a great leader. And we're wondering if you could tell our followers, our fans, our clients a little bit about why you started Box and Flow.
I started Box and Flow purely out of the need to share what this feeling had given me. So I started boxing when I was 20. I started practicing yoga when I was 15. Yoga gave me stillness, and it also gave me ease and sort of opened me up. And boxing allowed me to feel my strength and channel my confidence. And without knowing it, by practicing these two modalities every day back to back for, at this point, 15, 18 years, it shaped me. Boxing and yoga shaped my sense of self. It gave me confidence and ease, and it allowed me to feel free. So this practice is what I wanted to share with the universe, that feeling of being alive and not even just comfortable in my skin, but like embracing, confident in my skin.
What was scary about opening up Box and Flow at the very beginning?
Completely cracking myself open and being exactly who I am. And it was in that I didn't know who I was, because I had spent so long defining myself through my phenomenal job title, through all of my ex-boyfriends, through my family, where I was from, the stories that we create. And opening Box and Flow, I wasn't afraid of failure or risk or judgment or comparison. I was only afraid of myself. And showing that raw, that real, that vulnerability of this is my business, and it's also so much of my story and my life. And with that, you're just sort of standing naked in front of millions of people, or New York City saying like, take me or leave me. And I wasn't sure I was ready for the leave me part.
Cool. So I came to your class to the studio one time, and I mean it was a great workout. I was challenged.
Yeah.
So what gave you that idea to combine boxing and then yoga together?
It was literally how I was practicing every day.
Okay.
So again, it was like grit and soft, light and dark. I think that as humans, we all carry so much duality. The masculine, the feminine, the sun and the moon, the fight and flow.
Right.
And for me, it was again how I channeled my strength and channeled my softness. It was putting these two things together that forced me to be strong and also be soft and be still, to not stop moving and then to stop moving, and through it all channel my calm. So find my breath. And so to me, Box and Flow has nothing to do with boxing or yoga.
Right.
It's not even a workout to me. It's a feeling, and it's inspiration and empowerment through energy, breath, movement, and music. So if you have, if you can be inspired and empowered through energy, what we create, breath, what we need, movement, what we feel, and music, like what can carry you through, then you can find calm and center within. So again, when I stopped fighting myself, my idea, my identity, my life started to flow. I wanted to give people that freedom.
Nice.
It was through the vessel of Box and Flow that I've been able to.
Cool. That's amazing though, because what I believe is you have to let go of who you are in order to become who you were meant to be, right? And I feel like you reached that, right? And that's how you were able to let go of, who you thought you were, all the things that you were, it's almost like you were put in a box. Totally. And you kind of open that box.
Yeah.
And you just start flowing, start flying.
It's literally like that energy. Yes. And I think also like who you're meant to be, I think you have to let go of who you were to be who you are.
Right.
And I think who you are is constantly changing, growing, evolving,
Yes.
or it gets stuck.
Right.
And when it gets stuck, it's fight, it's resistance, it's the boxing, it's the fire. And when it's flowing, it's the water, it's the feeling, it's the breath.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
I remember, Crunch. Remember that franchise Crunch? I started boxing in my late 30s and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had friends of mine that said, why are you going to box? You're going to bulk up in such a huge way. I said, I don't think so. I think at that time I was boxing 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed the way I was thinking more than my body.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember leaving and I was so exhausted, so spent. And I was in a lot of pain for a long time when I was boxing at the beginning. But I remember doing my other job and thinking, wow, where is this clarity coming from?
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't really understand it because I get clarity from all the other things I do, yoga, dance, swimming. But what is that about with boxing?
Focus.
Yeah, it's insane.
It demands a sense of self that is unlike anything else. And the irony too, I believe that like boxing and yoga are 2 opposites, 2 sides of a coin. They both demand breath, intensity, focus, and energy. And one is so like still and calculated, and the other is too. So boxing, it forced me to be here. I am a recovered overplanner. I plan the wedding before the first date. I plan the brand before the business. It's literally like it became my crutch to like know the end goal before I actually like put my foot in the water. Boxing forced me to be so present. And yoga, it doesn't force you to be present, it allows you to be present. Because if you're not, the yoga class is wasted, you're not in your breath, you're waiting for it to be over. Boxing, whether you're fighting someone else or you're fighting a trainer or fighting a bag, like you're gonna get hit or you're not gonna actually like get anything from it. So I think both demand a side of you that is focused.
And really awake.
Like involved. So it's interesting when you said your mindset changed more than your body changed. Boxing, if you look at boxers, there's no bulky boxer.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
That's true.
Right.
You have to be malleable. To me, a boxer is a dancer. This idea of flow through the fight, what I teach, what I preach, you are dancing. You're not fighting. You're literally moving. And same as yoga, you're flowing. It's water. Like someone said to me, wonderful, one of the trainers I used to fight with at Church Street, what happens, he heard me, he's like, who are you? What is this energy? I was bouncing around the boxing gym in a leotard, like with all these fighters. And he came up to me and he's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm Olivia, who are you? And so I told him, my thinking, and he said, this is what I've been saying. And this guy also, he trains with mitts with his eyes closed. He feels your energy, which is so weird, but also like mind-blowing. And he's like, I get it. He's like, what happens when you throw a rock into the water? And I'm like, I don't know, it sinks. And he said, what happens when you throw a whip like on the water and it sort of reverberates. He's like, be the whip. Be the whip. You want to float, you want to dance. So when you look at fighters in any iteration, they're not like going through, they're not like landing, they're going through.
Yeah, they are.
So again, like when I teach my class, the method, it's all about being in your body, being with your breath, flowing through the fight, instead of being that hammer, being that rock. You don't want to sink, you want to glide.
Because injuries, I think, happen when you're that restricted, right? Forget the breath, forget why you're here, and
stop paying attention.
Yeah, you see that, right?
Absolutely.
You talk about that with his clients.
Yeah, so when you, it's like you're resisting, right? You don't grow when you resist, but you have to allow yourself to, just to be free, right? To just go with, with the flow, be open to the change, right? Otherwise, you will, either be stagnant, you're just not gonna grow. You don't know,
and you get stuck.
Right, you get stuck as well, and I think that's where combining, which is, that when Jackie first told me about what you did, combining boxing and yoga together, I was like, this is amazing, right? Because you have the power, you have the force, and then you have the sit back, just relax.
And
right?
the challenge is interesting. It's different for all people. It's for most, as I see it, the flow is way more challenging than a fight.
Absolutely.
You can keep moving and dance and breathe and sweat and move and fight and hit and but like actually when you get on the mat and feel your heartbeat after 35 minutes of heavy bag work, people don't know what to do with themselves because we are so accustomed to doing, we have no idea how to just be. And like the magic, and I would love for you to come back to a class because with this, when you talk about stuck or fight or resistance, the only way I can speak to this is because I've been through it.
Right.
I know what it feels like to play small, to get stuck, to shut down, and I worked with Jackie, and she opened up a side of me for me to really trust myself. But it wasn't Jackie that gave me permission, it was myself. It was just her, I think, so seeing me and, you know, holding me, not even accountable, but like in my light. Like she wouldn't let me down. But it was up to me to not let me down. So I needed to shut off my fight, find my flow, sign a lease, paint the walls, hang the bags up, no PR, no partners, no investors, never taught a class before. So when I say I hope you'll come back, because becoming a teacher is teaching. So I trusted myself enough, but now I'm owning, you know, my role as not even just a teacher, but also a boss. And like now I have 25 employees. Now I'm opening another space only because I won't allow myself to get stuck and play small anymore. And when I do, I feel it. And I literally practice what I preach, and I breathe, and I flow through the fight. And I overcome that stuck, that small, that doubt, that fear, because it doesn't serve me and for what I want to build and who I want to build. Playing stuck, playing small is not in the trajectory.
No, I think, you know, personally, that's one of my challenges, to just let go, to not be in control, you know, to not use power, to not use force. I think, you know, for me, it's almost like taking a yoga class. It's like, I'm like, I can't do this, right? I start thinking a lot, right? So I have to learn how to just, you know, just be in the present, be in the moment, let go. I don't have to be in control all the time. You know, I don't have to use strength all the time.
You can't.
You know, well, you're gonna crash, right?
I also think it's so interesting because you are so strong. And I actually think that the strength that you have is not trying so hard. Because like the power that you have either tapped into a bit but not fully is actually just allowing to be. So when I mentioned when I walked in and you said, I woke up, I ran 8 miles to clear my head. And you're like, 8 miles? You could run 40 miles.
I know.
With no problem. But the problem becomes the
you
thought.
start thinking about it.
And it's so interesting if you look at humanity and people and evolution, we are so capable. But it isn't until we allow ourselves that capability that we can.
And I'll tell you a funny story. I have one of my clients. She's older, 70s, and she's always, you know, she always feels like she's gonna fall, right? But she's not really falling. So before she even, you know, gets to the point where she would fall, she catches herself falling. So it's almost like, well, you're trying to not fall, but you're actually, you know, making yourself fall. You know what I mean?
You're planning the failure.
Exactly.
Yes, they're planning
So you know, what I always tell them is just don't think about it. Get out of your head, right? Like, don't think you're gonna fall. Because when you think you're gonna fall, you see the fall before you fall, right? And you end up falling because you think you're gonna fall.
She choreographed it in her mind.
Exactly.
You made it happen.
You made it. You make it happen for real. Because with her, if we're doing a box step up, and then, you know, she kind of pictures herself falling, and then she goes, you know, to avoid falling. Like, well, if you do that, you're gonna fall, right? So stop thinking about it.
So what do you do with her to help her? Breathe?
Well, just basically just kind of calms her down, right? You know, just don't think about it, right? You're not here to think, right? You're here to, you know, just use your muscles, use your body, right? You know, just let go of everything you have in your, every fear you have in your mind about falling. You know, and I think because she has fallen before, so she has that fear of always falling. You know what I mean? So being able to let go of the fears that we have, I think it's something that we all struggle
and we
with.
all carry that. Like I think, you know, I wrote about this more in this idea of like you carry hurt, we carry hurt and failure and rejection.
Right. Yes.
But like, if you're not, I always say this, if you're not willing to fall, you're not ready to fly.
Right.
That is actually, I wish more people understood that,
Right.
because it's so true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Like
Failure, or even the thought of failure, paralyzes
I know.
people, right?
Yeah.
Olivia? It
So
paralyzes
interesting.
them.
A lot of people don't even try.
That's exactly
Most
it.
people
That's-
don't
Yeah,
try.
don't try because they're afraid of falling. They're
And
fearful.
and with everything though, it's like, you know, they're afraid of the no. Like, ask the question. Like,
Right.
why didn't you call me this week? It's very simple.
Yeah.
Because at least you're gonna get the answer.
Right.
I don't know, I was busy.
Right.
Well, good, there you go. You're too busy.
Yes.
There you have the answer.
Yeah.
But jump, like, less dropping out, more jumping in.
Yeah.
We're so quick again to drop out of even trying.
Right.
Instead of just jumping into failing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I fail over and I fail every day. And it makes me proud to
Right.
know that I did.
Right, you tried.
Yeah.
Right.
Because otherwise, I know that I'm stuck.
Right.
I know that I'm thinking about it, that I'm thinking about, you know, everything except doing. And the thinking about it is feeling nothing.
Right.
It's just here.
You said something so interesting before, because you are a writer, and I think that's a beautiful way for you to express and share with people your inner thoughts and your experiences. We all need good writers, but you're a good storyteller also, which I love about your writing style.
Thank you.
So you said recently you had a photo shoot and you saw the pictures after, and you couldn't believe what you saw. Can you bring me through that? What was that about?
So I write about vulnerability. I'm in the fitness, wellness world. But it wasn't until 1 year ago, literally. I had a photo shoot February 9th, 2019. And it was risque, if you will, of me, like, you know, in my underwear, in a leotard or whatever. And it wasn't until then that I ever saw my body. Like, it took a photo shoot for me to strip away the facade and actually see myself and embrace this shape, this vessel that not only carries me, but supports me, that through everything I put through, 8 miles, yoga, it doesn't matter, the emotional distress, the emotional success. And it took a photo, multiple photos, for me to be like, excuse me, holy shit, like, this is your shape, this is your form, this is you. And I think women, men, discussed, like, there's so much body dysmorphia, there's so much insecurity around, you know, what we look like. And I don't think it's until we actually recognize how we feel that we can equate to, you know, how does it match what we look like? Because everything today is a two-dimensional image, and so much of it is falsehood and smoke and mirrors. And that's sort of my biggest, you know, hardship as now a teacher, a coach, a mentor, a human, a woman, is meeting people who I thought were out here and they're actually just in here.
Right.
But the irony too is it took a photo shoot 1 year ago for me to see myself and be like, wow.
And you're a highly physical person. Like, you would think that you're changing, you're seeing yourself in the mirror, but what was it? What kept you from seeing yourself as a woman?
Chose not to.
Yeah.
Just chose, not even seeing myself as a woman, celebrating myself as a woman. Like, celebrating this, again, this vessel that carries me, that moves me, celebrating this, like, body that you know, it literally facilitates everything I do, but it also doesn't define me. And I actually think, what was it? It was that I defined myself by it for so long. And I actually found a way to partner with it, as opposed to, like, be defined by it. And it was this freedom. And the irony even further was that when I stripped it all off, the feedback was either like, wow, or it was like, how could you? And the how could you brought shame to me, and I chose to either hear I could have heard the shame and been like, what do you mean? But instead I heard the shame and I was like, how could you? Like, how could anybody question us, anyone celebrating their shape?
That's right. Any shape.
Any shape.
Right.
Whoever you are, like, whatever body, whatever it is, it's not who you are, it's part of you. But I think the disconnect, particularly in wellness and fitness, is that, you know, we define ourselves by this vessel as opposed to just being with this body. Everything's about cheat days and the athleisure and, you know, what things look like, and the fitness aspects with, you know, the all of the fitness concepts with, like, the mirrors around you, so that you're not focused on what you're doing, you're not breathing, you're just staring at yourself. Box and Flow has no mirrors. It's not about how you look. When I work out, I look like, excuse me, like a homeless person in baseball tees, sweaty, soaking wet until I like rip off and I have a leotard underneath. And either way, it's again, like I just designed these leotards as like a second skin. So like,
can we see the back?
Sure.
These, I mean, come on. Is this awesome?
But
I want one of these tomorrow.
I'd
wear that out.
I mean, I'm wearing it. But the purpose is it's like super thin. I wanted shiny black spandex, like price affordable, but literally this idea of ninja chic, of being this like quiet assassin that like a ninja, you're valuable, but you're also deadly. Yeah. But beyond that, again, the shape of it, it's for every size, every shape, every color. Anyone can afford it. And it's literally just a second skin. Like once you embrace your shape, you want to be naked all the time.
Right.
And if you're not feeling that way, it's very much because you're in some sort of headspace that's not allowing you that freedom. Right. So I wanted to create something that, again, embraced shape. I wanted to create a workout that embraced celebration of self, but through the dark. Again, like I couldn't teach if I hadn't experienced. I can't speak to insecurity, body dysmorphia if I didn't know what that felt like. It took a photo shoot. It took me, signing up to my life. It took me committing to myself. And as a process, like I box and I flow every day. I flow through the fight. I breathe. I don't wake up enlightened every morning, but when I wake up, I literally check in like, where's my energy? Right. First I make a snow angel in my bed and I'm like, oh, I love you, bed. And then I actually just like, feel my, like, what are we working with? Right. Is it heavy or light? Are we more fight or more flow? And I get up and I look at my feet.
She looks at her feet every morning.
Every morning, and it's just legitimately with gratitude, but also with complete presence of like starting here at this moment, timestamp, whatever happened yesterday over whatever might happen later, completely out of my control. Fall, fail, fly. Yeah. All I have is right this moment in these feet, and then I move.
Cool. Nice. So it's amazing though. I remember like when you shared that story, you sent the email and I read it. Yeah. And you said you'd never seen your body. I was like, well, how's that even possible? Like I look at myself every day in the mirror, right? But then
you should.
But then I have a client who said the same thing, right? She was ashamed actually of her body, right? So. And what I had to tell her, don't feel bad about where you are, right? I mean, you are beautiful just the way you are. But the key is to want to change, right? The key is to want to be better. You know what I mean? It's to want to improve you. Right. Don't feel bad about where you are. Don't feel bad about feeling overweight. So it's not about, your weight. It's not about how you look. It's about, you feeling your best. It's about you working through, you working with what you have to get what you want to have. You know what I mean? So then I was like, wait, okay, well, I guess she was right. You know what I mean? To meet other people who feel that way too. It's like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because,
I think that's interesting. I think, I speak about this all the time, this idea of we're taught now, kids, Chinese and economics, like kindergarten through 5th grade. When was ever a subject in school confidence?
Never.
Right. Never. Yeah. And it's so funny because I can talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but you have to give yourself permission to fly. Right. You have to own the shape that you're in. You have to make a conscious decision, not even every day, every moment, to either fuel your life or fill your time. Right. So you're talking about overweight or shame or whatever it is. Yeah. The weight that we carry, it's mental. It shows up as physical. Right. It comes back to, are you fueling your life or filling your time? Yeah. Because the empty spaces that we carry, we start to fill with food, with alcohol, with sex, with work. Right. With working out. It can be shopping, anything. And I also know, like, when I get into a little bit of stuck or something, it's like, okay, then all of a sudden, like, I'm buying shit online and the boxes are stacked. I don't even open them. It's like, oh my God, it's Black Friday. It's like, I'm going to buy the internet. And I don't even, when it arrives, it's okay. And then, or it's like, the 5 o'clock drink with a friend. Or... the working till I'm blue in the face, or the not sleeping. Right. And it's just that empty space that I'm filling because I'm feeling empty. Right. So I'm not fueling my life, I'm filling time, but it's just filling with extra. Right. and it becomes heavy.
No, that's true.
And it becomes fight and resistance.
Yeah.
And it's only on me to let it go.
Right. It's funny. I posted something on Facebook recently.
What was that?
Saying, you have the weight you carry on your mind is actually sometimes heavier than the weight you carry on your body, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have to work through, because
Yes,
you have to work to that mind, whatever's holding you back. It's not physical,
Totally.
right? It's all psychological. You
Yeah.
have to really understand, where you are, and just kind of, get rid of that first. You know what I mean? So
Get rid of that, and also get rid of the people that are holding you back, and the habits, and the stories, and the excuses.
Yes.
And it's literally making a conscious decision.
Right.
Not even every day, every moment. Look at your feet and begin again.
Right.
You don't need a new year, a holiday,
Right.
A first date.
Yeah.
You need to decide every day, every moment.
Yeah.
To choose you, to choose confidence
Right.
over insecurity, and know that the energy comes in. Someone can walk into my business, by me in the street. I can get a text message or an email that can take me off,
Yes.
and all of a sudden it's fight.
Right.
And I can choose to resist, or just like you're doing, I could choose to breathe, let go, and carry on.
Cool.
Start over.
Great.
Could you do us a favor? Because part of the sessions is we leave every podcast with a fitscription for our clients.
Okay.
And it can be short, sweet, but something that you think might help someone wake up feeling a little different, getting their day started. What's a great fitscription you can think of?
It's not about having the most, it's about making the most of what you have. So I get up and I move regardless. And if I'm teaching class tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we'll see what time I wake up. But no matter what, I'm going to put on my sneakers and I'm going to move myself out of my way before I can move anybody else.
Right.
And if I have 20 minutes, I'll run, 2.5 miles. But it's not about having the most time, having the most money,
Getting the best.
it's literally just making the most of what you have, because it limits the excuse. You don't allow yourself to fail if you just let yourself fly, succeed. Whether, again, it's 10 minutes, get up, shadow box, get up, run a mile, move yourself.
Yes.
It can be that simple.
I like the idea of shadowboxing too.
Right.
You're terrific.
Yes.
And we're
Thank you.
so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. I feel
awesome.
like I've seen you guys from the beginning, the space you've seen me.
Right.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
And tell us where we get to go to box with you.
Come to boxandflow.com, find me, liveyoung.co or at liveyoung, and dating diaries, recipes, fitspirations, all the things. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. I feel like we have to have you back.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's so
I would
much
love
we-
to.
So much we want to talk
I would
about.
love
You didn't
to.
get to talk about.
Yeah.
So much.
So much.
I want to talk about sex next time.
Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, no filter.
I feel we definitely have to come back.
Thank you. Thank you. So
All right. Thank you guys. That was the
guys.
session. Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you on our next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.